John Wycliffe was born in the year 1329 and passed away in 1384. Wycliffe's accomplishments included creating Wycliffism, which was the movement that depended on the following material: moral virtue, Bible revelations, and the importance of preaching over sacraments, as well as having the Pope have no authority over the movement. He was condemned as a heretic by the Roman Catholic Church and multiple archbishops for his ideas. However, he didn't falter when he proposed England to stand without a pope, and only by God's will he believed the Pope could be equally as sinful as any other man, so it was best to rely on God. His impact resided in his call for the Bible to be translated to English, set the stage for other theologians such as Martin Luther to see the corruption within the Roman Catholic Church. He saw the wrong in the Church because they wanted complete anatomy over people. He in turn changed the place the Church stands in our society as we know it. John Calvin was born in 1509 and died in 1564. His accomplishments included creating the theology of Calvinism, otherwise known as the Reformed Church. Calvinism became a new branch within the Protestant religion, many which angered many Protestant rulers, but it also attracted various followers to the teachings. The result of this came as an achievement of becoming one of the most respected theologians in history. His impact was he proposed the idea of predestination, which, whether believed as false or a part of the faith, it changed the Church's view on the afterlife and the process of understanding what comes next. Martin Luther was born in 1483 and died in 1546. His accomplishments included being the leader of the Protestant Reformation and the well-known founder of the Lutheran religion. He is the most famous for writing 95 theses to protect against the Roman Catholic Church. He had to face ridicule from those who supported the Roman Catholic Church's views and the reality that he was the one main cause for the split of the two churches. Martin Luther's impact was also important due to his idea that religion was separate from the politics and that it could be as individuals' internal beliefs. He opened channels to new ideas embraced by both churches and influenced others to see God's word differently as well.
The Hundred Years' War, 1337 to 1453. The Hundred Years' War was a series of conflicts between England and France over many disputes, including the succession to the French crown. The war lasted over 100 years, and the French king left the Angevin Empire in a weakened state. It was ended with the Treaty of Paris that was signed by Henry III of England and Louis IX of France, which settled the territorial disputes between the two lands. The Canterbury Tales, 1476. Henry Chaucer wrote the Canterbury Tales, and in many of the characters he represented religious figures. He also highlighted problems that occurred in the medieval church. Martin Luther's 95 Theses, 1517. The practice of self-indulgence was becoming popular, which Martin Luther objected. He believed that salvation could be reached through divine grace and faith only. He then wrote the 95 Theses, which was a list of questions and propositions for debate on the subject. He hung it on the door of a church, and it became the foundation of the Protestant Reformation.
Antinomianism. It took place in the 17th century. This heresy is a view of which rejects laws and argues against moral values. It states that the people who shall be saved aren't bound to the Ten Commandments. It also states that the obedience to the Ten Commandments isn't far from God or anyone else, only by self-motivation. Martin Luther critiqued the heresy and called it controversial because of its radical ideas and beliefs. The heresy was not only criticized by Martin Luther, but was also rejected by the Book of Concord in the Last Confession of Faith, in the 5th article. Jansenism took place in the late 17th and early 18th century. This heresy emphasized original sin, human depravity, the necessity of divine grace, and predestination. It was started with Cornelius Jansen. Jansenism was immediately opposed by many within the Catholic hierarchy, especially the Jesuits. The Jesuits thought that Jansenism had Calvinist qualities. The people involved were Cornelius Jansen, for he created it. It was resolved by the Apostolic Constitution Cum Occasion in 1653, which condemned 5 propositions having to do with Jansenism.
Council of Trent was held between 1548 and 1563 and was overseen by Paul III. It was located in Trent, northern Italy. They discussed Protestantism, the faith, practice, and church order of the Protestant churches, and the Counter-Reformation. Important documents. The 17 dogmatic recess that covered the aspects of the Catholic religion.